raw like cake batter. Catch me walking on the rings of Saturn matter. Space hopping, jaws dropping. They not popping, show me the facts like car shopping. Change gears, lamps, the dope man had 'em. Soon as you get on it, I'll be on to the next.
That I found very interesting for many reasons. Like one being I guess being an artist to some degree in any capacity.
Right.
Whatever kind of artist you are, you kind of battle with some of those same things. So first and foremost, what did you? Because there's different elements of it. So
it's a lot of levels.
You know what I'm saying? You got just the straight, oh, I'm a fan, and dang, are you coming out with something?
Right.
Then you have just your human side, looking at somebody who has mental disabilities or things like that, suffering from anxiety. I know you have been on record saying that you feel like you suffer from anxiety. And I don't know if it's the same kind, because I know he has social anxiety. I
related to some of it. It's all it's levels, man. I think it's all gradient.
So what was your take on the interview?
I also just the initial level of Rick Rubin paired with whoever is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I know, I'm just thinking of the level of like being somebody like Andre 3000 and sitting in there with basically like your daddy. You know what I mean? Like, and to see him be in awe of these guys in general is a really thing. I think it led to, I had this conversation since I've become an artist or gotten into the artist realm. And I've also existed in the corporate realm. I noticed like the biggest difference and what he kind of exemplified and what stood out to me was the level of like when you're in the corporate world, how people are not always skilled but very confident or overly confident or very boisterous. They pose a lot in posture, even though they ain't really about nothing. Artists are very humble. And I'm not like, people are so talented. I'll go, man, like this is crazy. Oh, well, anybody. I'm like, no, if I could do this my whole life, I'm not ever going to even get close to what you can do just on a whim. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're just so humble. And that's the thing that I noticed, like the humbleness of him being what he is in the scope of the zeitgeist, and just being like, man, I just want to, go somewhere and play bass clarinet. Really spoke to me as a person, and just always what we value versus what's really means something. I mean, if that guy could look at that and go, it doesn't equate to the feeling I get creating something new. I know I could sit here and just bang out the same thing. He could just go out and he'd be great. He'd be fine. You know what I'm saying? But he's like, it just don't move me the way like instrumental music moves. And also, the evidence that genius is seldomly appreciated in its moment of creation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go back to, now everybody want to talk about he's the GOAT, and they're anticipating. Before it was like, this is crap. A lot of people didn't like, whatever you want to say, AT Aliens. A lot of people didn't like the clothes he was starting to wear, the direction they went from what they were initially. So I think also that's great just to see that. But I think that's, not, and obviously what you said, but those two aspects, the just the convictions of a person, it was very impressive to me. And just the love for art over capital, and how people can kind of be upset with you for that, for their own selfish reasons, which is crazy. Claim to love you, but to what avail, to what limit?
Right. So I thought it was extremely dope.
It was really good.
I definitely felt like you get a little more, not a little more. I feel like over the years, I've been hearing this stuff. It's just him coming out and really confirming it in a lengthy amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I've been hearing that he has stage fright, social anxiety type stuff. Like, I've heard that from whether it was CeeLo to bits and pieces from Andre kind of throwing little darts out there. I know that he likes rap. Like, he still raps, he still sings, he still does this stuff. But I feel like it's a combination of two different things, which is self-doubt and insecurity, and then also getting caught up into trying to please people.
Expectations.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he, you know, people can say, "Oh no, he don't care about this," but he does, because that's why he mentioned it all. It all goes into the pot. Yeah. You know, and so he feels that, you know, he would hate to put out something and then people be like, "Man, this food, you know, it's weak," and so I know he don't want that.
I don't even think that's his fear. From what I heard, I think it's more so he feels like he lost the space to create. Like freely.
But this is what I'm saying. You lost that space because you care about what somebody thinks.
But I mean, okay. So like, what was the I forget where I was somewhere. They said like the enemy of creativity is interruption. So like, I just think sometimes us as consumers do ourselves. We kill our heroes because we want to. Okay. Like
I
your boy.
understand that, but listen, what I'm saying, he still cares.
Oh yeah, that's
about
what I'm saying.
What somebody says, and that is part of his downfall, because he actually does care. For an example,
so you don't care. You don't care at all what people think about your music. I mean,
so I'm
capacity?
not. Listen, and I was talking to Kim about this last night. I'm not against him, because I understand, because I go through this. I could go through those same feelings and those same things, and that is a part of being the GOAT, or in a GOAT conversation. Okay. Everybody goes through this stuff. So for an example, if we're talking about Michael Jordan or Kobe or LeBron, they all suffer from different things, right? But personally, I always have felt like, oh, okay, LeBron kind of cares whether this shot goes in or not, or how people view. Yeah, exactly. You took the shot, you didn't take the shot, or you shouldn't. So I know he's affected by what people have said on the outside, to where a person like Kobe or Jordan or somebody, they may not suffer from that, but they're affected in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's not better or worse.
I agree. What I'm saying is, in the scheme of the world, though, in the scheme of the world, we need more LeBrons. We need more 3000s. We need less Kobe's and Jordans. I'm sorry, like, that's why we are where we are societally. Look, I'm all about greatness. I'm a huge fan of admiring the tremendous skill of others. One of my favorite quotes from my grandmother used to tell me is, "It can't be a parade unless somebody in the crowd and somebody clapping." Sometimes you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be people on the sideline clapping, or it's not a parade, right? It's just a bunch of people walking down the street with nobody around. So don't get me wrong. I understand that, like, I think a lot of people don't, but people don't always value the clappers as much as they should, or that part of it. And I just think, like, yes, it's great to step on the throats of your enemies and be dominant and victorious, but okay, let's just bring it down to the real life level. That is a game. Like kind of how we was talking about before, we was like, oh, these guys, they do not be crying in their room when it's all set, when the cameras is off and they by themselves, they having a grand old time. It's just like the WWF, you know what I mean? Oh, I hate y'all, kill you. Half them dudes is each other's godfathers and uncles. Some people, some are not. Some of them, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, it's clear
that KG is not about that life. Right, He's not going to be.
But I guarantee you, if they was like, you could take care of your family for the rest of your life comfortably, or play basketball, nobody's going to just, I mean, like, professionally, right? You could play for free. You know, I'm just saying, you're talking about a game that somebody would play for free anyway. You know what I mean? And all I'm saying is, like, he would do this for free. He's showing you that. He's saying, I would just go sit in the park and play the bass clarinet. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, societally, because we only value, like, what is your production? What have you, like, even now, to how many championships? But it ain't always just that cut. It's just a way our little minds get to judge and categorize.
That's true.
But to be frank, for instance, like, that is kind of what pushes even LeBron get on my nerves on the basketball. But as an overall, if I had to pick who I want, so, like, just in the scheme of the real world to exist, like, if you had to say, hey, well, you could erase everything that, you know, or you know, you could have that influence or that influence. I'm taking the other influence. Okay, I get less championships, but, like, kids are going to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just other things. Well,
kids
bigger.
Are going to school in the media. But you don't think Jordan has sent millions of kids or thousands of kids to school? I think he's. You said you just hold on.
First of all, I think there is a.
Don't try to prove your point.
Let's get off. I'm not.
Are you seriously saying that Jordan hasn't done a lot of things for kids outside?
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a whole thing I just posted about how tax write-off work for the wealthy and a lot of other things, right? So there's a difference between And once again, can I honestly, because I've never talked to this man, judge his intentions totally? No. All I can do is go by my perception historically of what he's done, what he's said, and stories of other people who have interacted with him directly and don't really have too much of a reason to lie about these things. Even people I know on a personal level who have met Michael Jordan. I've known multiple people. I've yet to run into anybody that said he was a good dude when they ran into him. I've yet to hear really too many stories about, hey, I had an enjoyable experience when I was with Michael Jordan. I heard about him dogging a dude that looked up to him his whole life, a local Houston rapper by the name of Chameleonaire, because he wanted a picture with him and was like, I don't take pictures with niggas, excuse my French, but the God said it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I don't ever think LeBron told any person, especially a color, that walked up to him for a picture, that he may have said, sorry, I'm busy, I don't have the time right now, something like that. And all you can go, it's like Bernie Sanders, when people go, oh, he's just a politician. But all I can go by is the 50 some odd years this man been saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. And okay, like later on, if you find out he running a prostitution ring, yeah, you got me. But hey, you put in a hell of a ruse, fam, for 45 years. You deserve to get me. Mm-hmm. But what we do is, and this is a perfect example in the election, is you got Bernie who been spitting the same game for this long, right? Then let's be honest, there is nothing that half these people are talking about without him. So most of the platforms that these Democrats are running on are directly ripped from Bernie's page. It's just, hey, we don't want to mess. We don't really want to piss off the top 1% in corporate people. I want to give you what y'all like to hear from Bernie, but I still want to make it so we get the same thing. And the crazy thing is, people are more like to what Bernie's doing than what they're doing. And,
okay.
and that's what's wrong with music and everything else.
Okay. So, yeah, this is some little perfect world sucker stuff, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you saying.
Yeah, that's some perfect world sucker stuff.
But it's not.
Yes, it is. Because the reality of it is, this ain't the Garden of Eden. And
but that's why.
And you make decisions. And you choose to play. So,
good. I'm glad you brought this up.
I'm not gonna go like into some whole. Well, how about we just take the money out and just play for fun and all like, bro.
That's not what I'm saying.
You didn't grow up like that. You wanted to hoop. You chose to hoop. You chose to try to be this good.
Okay.
You wanted to do all of this, and you make your bed and you lie in it. Music wise, you wanted to be what you are. Okay. Oh, listen.
That's interesting.
Interrupting me because then I lose. I'm not gonna interrupt. Okay?
I just go ahead.
You chose to be an artist. You chose to play the game, and then I'm not just speaking of him. I'm talking of
I know you're speaking broadly.
Artists,
I agree.
A bunch of artists who decided to do this, and you have to be able to accept what comes with it and figure out ways to balance it and do your art and do it. Like it's just a part of it, okay? And D'Angelo has put out 3 albums in 25 years. Mm-hmm. You know, Lauryn Hill technically put out outside one solo project, but then, you know, obviously the two Fugees joints.
Right.
So they weren't able to figure that out. I'm not saying that we need more of that because they want to do it. They just don't know how to do it. Prince and certain other people, they suffered from the same people as these artists. They have social anxieties. They have confidence issues. They have this. They have that. There's a lot of things that a lot of artists go through. Okay. No different in basketball or sports in general. They're not all like, oh man, I want the big moment. Like, oh yeah, this is nothing to me. Like a lot of them are nervous. Jordan said he was nervous before every game.
Everybody.
Okay, so I can't go, well, since Jordan is nervous, you know, he doesn't have to take the big shots, or he doesn't have to step into or make plays in the certain times of the game and different things like that. It's like, no, you have to figure out ways to overcome that. And so all I'm saying is, you know, it's unfortunate for both sides. For him, you know, obviously that's why he's doing a podcast talking about, man, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It ain't like he waking up like, oh, I don't even think about it. I can care less about doing this stuff. Like, so obviously he wants to do it, but there's barriers that it's very hard for him to overcome. So I don't think it's as black and white as saying, oh, we need more people like that. Actually, we need it needs to be a good mix, because we don't need people oversaturating and just throwing out trash, but we also do need the Lauryn Hills and the Andre 3000s and D'Angelo's, if you will, and there's been other artists to continue to make great music, because their music does do something for people.
Okay, so I agree, but at the same token, why do we have to just rest our hats on those like 5 artists? Like, why are they responsible for all the great music output for the rest of our lives? Because they're great.
They're not.
Like, I'm sorry, Anderson .Paak just came out. He's a prolific artist for the last, and he will be he's going to be in the talks like them. There's artists that are coming out all the time. Now, what I feel though is that if one artist for some reason continue, like, okay, I'd rather have one good Lauryn Hill album than somebody overstep 4 albums into somewhere where I don't care anymore. Sometimes I think artists should be a little bit more conservative and stuff, but let's be honest. Most of these musical decisions, like, see, you have the luxury right now when you make your music is because you love music. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happens. Like, you go from where, okay, I'm just doing this. I wake up every morning because it's a passion. I have to do it. To now all of a sudden, okay, well, I got this number I have to hit. I got my manager I got to cover. I got the spread on this that's invested. So now all the things that are influencing your music aren't what it was. That's why, let's be honest, like, the first album's the best album because you had all that time to put into it. After that, you're doing tour dates, you got money. And that's all he's saying. Like, I can't lie to you and say that music is going to always be my primary interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to expand, you're going to grow. And I just, it ain't that. I'm not saying like that, okay, be surprised that, like, I don't think he ever sat there and go, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm not haven't sold an album. His back catalog is going to sell for the rest of his life. He good. He don't have to drop another album. What this is people that want something imposing their desires on another person. He has the right to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. And it doesn't matter if that hurts your music collection. And I think that's what fans sometimes forget. Like, you do not exist. Like, and I understand when you're passionate and you're in the midst of it, you have you a high level dude. You come from sports, and I was like that too. Like, for a long time, I was about competition, just go, and I just and there's still nothing wrong with being elite. But like when they were talking about Dave Chappelle when he was talking to his dad, and he's like, you know, his dad's like, well, you know, being a comedian and being in that business is a risky business. And he's like, well, you know, you're a teacher, right, Dad? How much you make? He's like, 40 grand. He's like, all right, well, if I can make 40 grand doing comedy, right, then you would consider that, and I don't have to do no crap that I don't want to do. I would consider that successful, right? And he laughed. He's like, you got a point. He's like, but what I would tell you is set your price. And when the price gets too expensive, get out of there. And he's like, hence Africa. So I just think sometimes we sit here and we go, wow, people don't have convictions. Wow, people are slimy. They'll do anything for money. But then we applaud people doing anything for money all the time and really look at other people who said, hey, money, fame, all this stuff that you desire, that's great. Those are your desires, those are your interests. That's not the reason I got into this at all. That's not my interest. And I relate to that because that's me. And also I relate to that because I live in the 5th largest economy in the world. And a lot of people from Texas and Houston, I love y'all to death, are very money and I feel it, because also in that same spirit is why I'm doing my thing now, why I can sit here and be talking to you on the mic and be selling bracelets. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. But sometimes you get too close. Like, what's the end result? Like, what do you know what I'm saying? Like, I could up my bracelets $10 right now. People are starting to dig them. Why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't everything. So if I get to buy one less yacht in my life, if this works, like, so what? And that's the problem. Like, what is the cutoff? And that's the problem with capitalism and everything. I'm not against somebody going out, striking out, and all based off your hard work, skill, and effort, getting everything you want. But it gets to a point where people that have already been advantageous has set the game to a certain way that you can't play it in a fair way. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's wrong. That's all. He should be able to do whatever he wants and not be under that pressure.
I'm all for the man. I was clear about this in my conversation last night. I don't feel like, man, you have to come out with this, or you have to do this, you have to do that. Of course, because they feel like it's no different from playing in the NBA or in the NFL or something. Like, you signed a contract to play, and we're expecting you to play. You should play. You should play. So I get fans and their selfish motives. I also get, you know, his side of it or their side of it, because he's not the only one. But I also would say this too, like, there's people who have done this, like a Cat Stevens. or and they say, oh, I don't want that life no more, and they go and do something else,
which is beautiful.
But the thing is, these artists that we kind of are talking about, they didn't do that. They keep dabbling. They keep, I'm gonna do a show here, and I'm gonna do a verse here, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
You don't think they earned that though?
No, but it feels like, okay, you want to do this, but you're afraid to do this. Now, I'm not saying that's his case.
Right, some people.
But overall, when you see that, and, they actually say this stuff.
Oh,
too.
sure.
Even he said it.
He said
that, so...
He said his confidence down, too. I'm not going to put this all to him just being a trailblazer. Like, he said he's having confidence, but that's okay, too. People are human.
Right. So it's cool, but like I said, man, I would rather him be in the space or Lauren D'Angelo or whoever it is. I would rather they get to a space to where it's like, spiritually, I'm just kind of on something else. It's all good. This is what it is, and I'm cool with this. Nah,
no. I think
people waking up doing music every day.
I think that's where he's trying to transition. I never said that he lost his desire for music. I never even said that he doesn't want to do music. But maybe he wants to do bass clarinet. Experimental.
Okay, so what I'm saying
music.
is,
so he's learning. That's the whole thing he's talking
about.
Well,
he's done. You gotta remember too. This is a long time, and that's kind of what I was saying last night. Like, this is a long stretch of time we're talking about.
Right.
So it ain't like, we're just talking about this last 2 or 3 year span. We are talking about from like, what is it, like maybe 6, 7? I don't know.
Right.
Like it's been over a decade. So obviously, He's worked on a lot of different things. There's been rumors. Big Boy at one point said that we actually have an album.
Yeah, they just
so my thing was this, like, because when you be like, I'm not really motivated to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, so there's nights to where literally I could just sit and do foolish stuff, like do some social media stuff, watch basketball games, like just all kind of stuff, and watch some YouTube stuff, and then call it a night. And then there's other nights to where I literally stay up to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning working on beats. And I have to force myself to go to sleep.
Right.
So that's motivation.
Inspiration.
Excuse me, you're right. Inspiration. That's what I meant. That's being inspired and just kind of, and even being motivated to do it, like for whatever the reason. Now, the second part of that is having the confidence or the structure, the infrastructure, the business, the people around you who can take that and say, okay, we're going to put this out. Because if you don't have that around you, I can get inspired and motivated to do music for a 10-year span, but if I don't have that around me, nobody's going to help me get that out. And that's what I feel like some of those artists suffer from. And if you also think about it, a lot of the artists that do suffer from that type of thing, they don't, it's not a coincidence that they don't have labels, meaning they're not like Jay-Z or Eminem or Lil Wayne or just a bunch of different people.
Yes, Jay-Z's, Eminem's, and Lil Wayne's though.
There's a lot of artists who, Rick Ross, they have this business like there's something inside them that is more business minded as well. To where they can say, I get this product, but also we can monetize it. Those artists are just kind of artists. They don't really have labels. They're just like, no, I just make music and that's that. And that's gonna be.
They're like Michael Jordan, where I don't have any convictions really. I kind of sway back and forth with what's hot or what's happening. Don't get me wrong, I'm a tastemaker and a creator as well, because I'm smart enough to see trends. So I'm smart enough, okay, this is what's popping. Let me bop over here and mix that. Jordan's a little different, I think. But he didn't do, like, he didn't design all that shit. He was fortunate enough to have people with him. I use
those names because they're popular names. But I can use smaller entities who don't do that. They don't sway with what's popular. They just literally make their stuff. But they have more of a business mind. For an example, you could just sell bracelets, but you could try to, just give them to a company and that's that. But at this point, you're like, nah, I can build my situation and I can sell bracelets and then I can partner with different people. So it's more of a business mind. Some people literally don't think like that. You'll go to their house and you'll go to their house and they'll have 100 and something, 150, 200 bracelets. And you be like, man, you do bracelets? And they be like, yeah, I just do them.
So do you?
But they have no idea of.
So do you feel like, which type of artist do you feel like you are?
Oh, I'm definitely more of a. I'm on the side of I'm gonna get my stuff out. I'm not just finna. I am. It is a bit of both because that's why I have hundreds and hundreds of beats that I've never released and that probably wouldn't see the light of day. And there's other artists who wouldn't. They'll just make a bunch of beat tapes and that stuff would be out. Right? I'm not really that person, right? Because I'm more critical. That's why I said I'm not knocking Andre. Of course.
You don't see your music
but
as
it's
a
not. But I'm not. But listen, I'm not here to tell you that I'm right or wrong. It's the reality.
What
because
I'm saying
there's times to where I feel like, man, I wish I did have the confidence to do what a Madlib or Knowledge or Flying Lotus or different people like that, or even one of my guys at E.
Yeah,
they can put together beat tapes and like just put them out. I'm not really like
which
that.
is cool. And I don't think,
and it's not. And I'm not saying I'm better or worse, but I'm just not like that.
And that's just creative process. But I also but think about. Okay, so let me go back though because I don't want to lose this. I don't mean to interrupt, but you made a point and I just want to touch on it. So you kind of proved my point though. You're speaking from a place of luxury when you're talking about, some days I just watch YouTube and some days I get inspired to stay up to 4 a.m, right? Mm-hmm. It's because you don't have an itinerary of things where somebody's telling, hey, at 4 o'clock you got to go do this media, and then 6 o'clock you did. Then you got about 3 hours of studio around 4 o'clock.
I wouldn't say that because
not to the extent you're not
talking about artists who are artists for a living.
But still,
I do a bunch of stuff.
It's different. It's still different. Okay, let me put it another way then. Right now, I have a friend that don't have a spot to stay. I stay in a one-room efficiency by design, right? I'm a minimalist. I don't like a lot of stuff. But, hey, you my boy, we sharing this one, you know what I'm saying, if you need a spot. But he doesn't know how, like, some people don't know how to, like, appreciate space, right? Like, we already in a very small space. I'm trying to help you out. Just give me some space, you know what I'm saying? So, like, when I create, I'm just, like, I'm trying to be in the zone. I'm trying to be in that moment. And dude, like, what you doing? What's this? So imagine that, like, on a scale of 1 million people. So even if you get that 3 hours, you don't have that many people clawing at you. Like, you popping, Golden. Really, I'm one of your biggest fans, but you're not Andre 3000 popping. You cannot fathom it. You cannot process it till you're there.
It's all relative, though.
But I'm just saying.
I also can't afford, for an example, like Kanye, I can't afford to go to Hawaii and book out a whole little goddamn compound and just
I agree
and have only the people that I need working with me, and we work for 2 or 3 week stretches. I can't do that. But
also Kanye, but also in well, now you're kind of comparing, I think, apples to oranges. Kanye is lead creative to a certain extent of a conglomerate. You know what I'm saying?
Drake could do that as well.
But Drake can.
All of them guys could do that.
But what I'm saying is,
if they choose to do that.
But you're saying they
can.
I can't. But you're eliminating the major thing, which is everybody's different. Everybody's process is different. There's people that I'm sure that could crank out freaking bracelets no matter who's looking at them and what there's going on. You could be just same thing with you. You need probably a certain. You may be able to come in here and your son could be running. You be doing 15 things and still crank out a banger. There's some people that have a different process. And all I'm saying is neither one is right or wrong. I'm not saying that, but I just don't think we value the people that go, yo, look, I know y'all not always, not like that most deaf type stuff is whack. You're telling people to come to my show. No. Just tell them, or like that Lauryn Hill stuff.
He goes into the box too. They all kind of go into the box.
But it's different because one is, I'm not coming out, like those rumors sometimes ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a rumor that Odell Beckham said he wanted to leave Cleveland. And he came out and posted on it. Now, at the same token, I don't know if he's lying, doing damage control and get traded. Who knows, right? I don't know about that. But all I'm saying is, in the end, like, I just seen people that like literally are like, man, if you don't just get over that nonsense, drop some heat. Like, you can't play people like that, and you can't. And I'm not saying you, but I'm saying people. And I'm not talking about Andre from your perspective. You have a very realistic, reasonable perspective. You are creative. You understand. You may not fully agree with everything he's doing, but you can understand it. There are people that are just very selfish and only care about what they want. Right? That could be cumbersome. And look, you love your son. I love my kids, but when they at you all day some days, and he's like, yo, you like, man, don't get the, no matter how much you love them, you want to just throw them across the wall and run away forever and just never come back. It's no different. If you could do that with your children, you don't think you could do that with music?
So the reason why the reason why I feel the way I feel about it, to where I'm like, I feel you, but I also feel the other side is you ain't the only one. And there's been other artists who felt like that and have dealt with the same situations, but they were able to overcome it and kind of find some type of consistency.
Right. I guess my point with Drake,
and that's all I'm saying is I hope that some of those artists can get over some of the obstacles to where they can be a little bit more consistent and do what they do. Sade is consistent. She don't come out every year.
Right.
She comes out every 4 or 5 years, but it's consistent.
But what I would say
her
is
process.
I couldn't tell you the last Sade album. I couldn't tell you a song off of it. So I'm just saying at some point, productivity versus what? You know what I'm saying? Availability and noticeability and being out versus what? Like, I will go ahead and take those 3 D'Angelo albums for the rest of my life.
That goes back to...
That's okay with me.
That kind of goes back to caring about the people that kind of don't matter. So,
well, once you
this is what's important to me.
They matter.
This is what's important to me. Like, there's like when it comes to having gifts, like you could tell some people who are special and they have these gifts, right? And so then the whole thing becomes, all right, how do you utilize your gift and give back to the earth, right? I was blessed from the Creator with these abilities, and I maximize on them, and then I have to give back. And so I feel like when you allow the evil forces and fear, more importantly than anything, is fear.
Yeah, I feel you.
And doubt and different things like that to overcome your ability to maximize and utilize your gifts, then I'm not finna be like, oh yeah, that's dope. No. This for anybody going through that. You have to figure out how to overcome that so you can maximize on your gifts and your ability. Now, that may not be in a form of putting out this rap album that sells millions of records like my other stuff. That may be in the form of doing the next phase of music or whatever that is for you. Like he said, it could be just going around playing in random spots and whatever the case. Right. Well, great. Let it be that. Or it could be, man, I put this project together like Rick Rubin was saying. I just love it, dog. And I just want to let my partners hear it, and I love it. And then that sells 200,000 copies, and that's it. But it still is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that's all I'm saying. Now, if he doesn't want to do music, or if he doesn't want to do the stuff, then cool. Okay. But if he does, then I hope that he can overcome some of the things that's holding him back.
So I'm with you. I think, so I got you. And I think we're both on the same page. You're approaching it from a thing of like, if you genuinely want to be back in the spotlight and you genuinely want to be an artist and you want to put your music back out, don't allow fear to stop you from doing that. Right. Don't care. Right. I agree with that. But once again, now for somebody that likes to say, you want some perfect world shit, that's some perfect world shit. People, I can't, like this morning I had an anxiety attack. I don't know why. Things are going great. It has probably something to do with some stuff I dealt with yesterday, but that resonated. So like some stuff I dealt with yesterday came back on. You know what I mean? I would, and now what the problem is now with my anxiety, my other part of me, it's like having 2 people. It's like having a very able-bodied, confident, capable alpha in you, right? And a very meek, scared, not confident, doubtful person in you, right? The crazy part is you could probably live with being either one, but when you so no matter what, you're screwed. You have a negative input still in the background. So what I mean is, if I do something great, that meek side of me is gonna go, this ain't gonna last for long. You lucked up on that, right? If I'm being meek, the other side's going, you're being a fucking punk right now. You know you're better than. So that's the problem. So like, I don't know how to. And some people, when you talk about skills and what creators are giving you, I've been blessed to be very oratorically skilled. I'm aware of this. I have a tremendous grasp of the English language. I can get my point across very much. I ramble from time to time, but as far as being eloquent and saying what I have to say, you know, which led me to be a salesman for years and years and years. And the help in sales is I'm able to get across an idea for you to understand my point. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing about sales is association. You know how you do X, Y, Z and blah, blah, blah? Well, my product's going to allow you to do X, Y, Z and blah, 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 right?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. That is the craziest thing about having these type of things, and why we need to do a little bit better understanding of mental illness. Now, where it goes wrong, I think, with anything in society is we go too far to the extreme, right? So, perfect example, my grandmother was a psychologist. Like, there was a period of time where you could throw anybody into a psych ward. It didn't take nothing. They itch wrong, they look weird. Who cares? You can never take them out, never do nothing. Then after a time, laws were passed, things happened where it got, you know, more and more rights. It's the bell curve. We probably hit the middle where it was perfect, but then what happened, more and more and more laws. Now you can't get somebody that's crazy into a psych ward. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying there's sometimes there's a middle ground, and we always overdo it either way. And that's all I'm saying. I think both sides are right, but I don't knock him. But my thing is, I don't think it's him saying, I really want to be back where I was. I'm just really scared to do it. Is that there's a way and a process I'd like to be able to do this in, which is his right, which the current events do not allow me to do. So currently, I'm trying to see if something else allows me to feel the way I felt when I was able to create in that way, which is what's leading him to do goofy things. Like, people are like, he's crazy, but that's what's allowing us to do, like, I want to learn bass oboe. I want to sing. For him to make that album was completely, that's what it was. It was like, I just want to feel a certain, like, you know how you feel when you hear a song for the first time. But that's all I'm saying. So I'm not, I mean, so I agree with you, though.
With what you said, you were saying, okay, you had an anxiety attack.
So anyway, but what I did was I just trudged through. You know what I mean? I came. I want to do this anyway. Right.
So that's all I'm saying.
But
so now,
hold on.
Earlier when you was like, you know, we need more of that. And so what I'm saying is, I can't champion or say we need more people going through what you go through. That's a disorder. That's something that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Something that you kind of have to overcome.
What I'm saying is, I want more people, though, to make their decisions based off what's best for them emotionally and mentally, which is what he's doing. So I'm not saying that's exactly, like, in the same hand, people go, oh, well, don't let it get to you. Okay, well, here are the steps I'm taking.
Right.
To contend with it, to be happy. I'm sorry if it does not fit in line with what works for you or what you think success is, or the vision of what somebody should be doing with the potential I have. Yeah. But it's my journey. Right. You know, like, for instance, people only see the results. They never put any investment into the steps, right? So just because you're seeing somebody standing there right now, you do not know what journey. They may have worked 10 times harder to get 5 steps behind you. So who's really the better person? And that's what I'm saying. The perception is messed up. So some guy way up here gets some more credit for the guy way back here when he just kind of skated through. He didn't have to deal with anything this guy hated. So this is a bigger accomplishment to be here sometimes than here.
I think a lot of...
On your own terms.
I think a lot of artists suffer from... they suffer from past success. And that doesn't have anything to do with the music sometimes. That has something to do with where maybe the music industry is, and where and how they were able to market you and different things like that. But it doesn't have anything to do with the music. So that's what bothers me.
I feel you.
When I hear artists try to live up to something. And that's more so record sales, because even Michael Jackson, he had that really bad.
Yeah,
he was always
the
chasing,
greatest artist. That's what I'm saying. Like,
trying to go platinums and stuff like that, and it would kind of get in the way of.
And he's dead. Let's not leave out the horse in the room. Prince is dead. You know what I'm saying? Those dudes dealt with that, but they tried to do what you're kind of saying: just push through, put it out, do what you got to do, instead of maybe. Michael should have took a step back.
No.
Maybe it's better that he wasn't the greatest artist in the world.
Because that's kind of what I already clearly said this. I'm not telling nobody that they should be listening to others critique whatever they're doing. When you're a great artist, I don't think that you should be listening to some fan who's not really a fan of yours anyway, clown or say, oh, he should have did X, Y, Z. I'm not saying that if Andre or if somebody, whoever, was to come back out, that they need to have the same type of success that they had prior. My thing is, you just need to get comfortable and use your gift and do your stuff.
Yeah.
And no matter what that does, it's still a success at the end of the day.
I agree.
Because that's why you had the gift. That's the therapeutic part of it anyway. So just do you. If it happens to be the greatest thing ever to people, are they able to market it that way? Cool. If not, cool. You know what I'm saying? And I think that easier said than done.
Oh, no.
But that is the problem that most artists deal with.
And that's why I hope very much we get that Andre 3000 bass clarinet album.
So
even though I want to hear him rap, I'm okay with if that's the album that comes out.
Right.
Because I respect him as an artist.
Yeah, I'm straight.
And that's all he's saying. You know what I'm saying?
And I think, I kind of think that there's actually an album or something on the way. That's why I feel like he's popping up so much.
Maybe.
But whatever, you know. But there are examples in the industry now that I feel like, for an example, like you take a guy like Rock Marciano, you take a guy like, let's take Rock Marciano.
Okay.
MF Doom.
Oh, I was about to say MF Doom. And let me stop you right there before you start. I want to point out something. So once again, I consider you a very, very, very skilled musician. All right? Very skilled artist. Very skilled. Very skilled. You know, I just want to put that out there. Like, you're a very skilled talent. The whole team. So, if I'm Rock Marciano, like, and I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, he not, you know, it's about, I know who Rock Marciano is. Not everybody knows who Rock Marciano is, right? Yes. Probably nobody knows who Rock Marciano is, besides those who know, right?
Yeah.
For him, he don't know this. For somebody like you to sit here and that be about to be your, I know that's your man too. Like, that's your man. For that to be your man, he should be able to die on. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That he should be able to. If he never sells another record, like, that's just where I'm at mentally, and I think that's where Andre is. Like, it ain't about all that other crap.
And so, with that being said, if that's where you are, then, like I said, embrace that and do that. That's all Rick Rubin was telling him to do.
But he don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that other. I just want to put my art out and just. Okay. I don't want to be. He said. You see the word he used. He said attacked. He feels like they just swarm it.
That's what these dudes have done. They had got to a point where they was like, okay, I don't care about this major stuff. I'm not, because the reason why I used them is because at one point they were on the major labels.
I do remember
and
he was
were
actually
trying to do certain things, right?
Okay, so
and then at a certain point they say, you know what? I don't want to do that. I just want to do this because I like this. I enjoy this. And then I'll put it out. If it does, it does. If it don't, it don't. And I think a lot of times our great guys, our greatest musicians, our greatest artists have the issue of that.
Sure.
Because they kind of look down on people selling $200,000. Excuse me, 200,000 units. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't come from that. So I just wish more artists.
Yeah.
Like I take for an example, like a Pusha T or somebody like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, why is Pusha T? Well, this is just my opinion.
No, I admire that.
Why is Pusha T trying to make these commercial records and whatever? And I feel like, man,
he's in
imagine
his lane.
if he was doing the Griselda type stuff or the Rock Marciano type, Rock Marciano type stuff, and then Griselda and like Pusha T could have easily did that, but he comes from a certain level of success. And it's like, I gotta kind of maintain that.
Oh, it's the old.
And the look of
I wanted to rap like Common. I need that, and I ain't rap.
Right.
Like even Jay said, one of the greatest said, "Yo, I really would rather rap like this."
But
it didn't work out.
Gonna work out for me like
but
that.
I'm just saying, like that should be cool, and I agree. Like, don't. But also, we're comparing. Like, let's be honest. Andre is a very special case, right? Like, we can't. There's not too many people on one hand you can say. Like, first of all, they're the largest selling rap group in the history. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Grammy, Rock Marciano ain't sniffed a Grammy, probably never been to a Grammy party. So it's a different level. That's all I'm saying. And Rock Marciano ain't got. Rock Marciano go to his local bodega.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying?
On the real though, I was an Outkast fan. Not was like I'm a huge Outkast fan. They're one of my goats.
Yeah, you have to
I probably was more, I hate saying more, because when they were together, I never really looked at it like this, but I'm probably more partial to 3000. More so probably just overall content wise and stuff like that.
I appreciate
I'm
Big
more
Boy.
of a 3000 guy. I like the Love Below a lot, and then so
yeah, they're like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but what I guess the point I'm making is I feel like Big Boy was able to say, oh, okay, cool, that thing is over. I'll
go my own
carve
way.
my own way, and I do that. I don't necessarily follow as much because I just, like I said, when I break it down, maybe I was more of a 3000 guy. But to say that Big Boy hasn't carved a lane for himself and continue on to push, you know what I'm saying? You'll be lying. So that's dope. So I feel like I just would like to see Andre do that in his own way. And that, like I said, that may not
and what
be
I'm
what
saying
we expect,
is
but I just want to make sure
that's
that
when you
that's
get
what happens.
Idlewilds. Like, I would also say, even though never front on Big Boy. I feel like Big Boy is actually a tremendously underrated MC and tremendously underrated in the whole scheme of the value of Outkast. Tremendously. But I could live without 90% of that crap after Outkast. I really could.
But that
I really could.
But that goes back into
Take it or leave
caring.
it.
That goes back into caring, because when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're putting your all into it, I don't care what Chris Washington thinks at this point, because this ain't for him.
Sure, I give him that.
This ain't something that's supposed to be helping Chris. This ain't for his time that he's going. Like, this ain't for him. This is for them other people that come and support, and it's like, man, that big is hard, and it's for them. It's for that's your duty. To that person. Yeah. Do you understand?
I think Dre is the flip side of that, though. He's doing that for the other crew of people that are like, hey,
Well, that's the thing.
Don't care.
We need him to do that for those people. Well, those people need that from him. So whoever those people are, I just hope he connects with those people. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't surprise, like, he could do, like he said, man, I thought about performing at a flea market.
Which is a great idea.
You know what I'm saying? It might just be a whole nother crowd of people.
I hope so. I hope it's the most far left weird stuff ever.
There's so many artists who have came and we like, oh, they did this, and then 10, 20 years later they're doing like rock stuff, and we don't really follow them, but they're doing like rock stuff. And selfishly, I could be like, oh man, that's trash. But if you find a whole nother groove of people and then you doing that and that's your thing, that's your thing.
But I think also it bleeds into what we were talking about earlier, that Crazy Bone stuff too, which is there are some forces that are really, like when Dave Chappelle was talking about, man, like you got a lot of real, like a lot of these people struggle to get there. They're very talented, resourceful, strong people. Like you can't not be at those levels, right? Mariah, all these people. And then they go crazy.
Right.
And so you have to start looking at whatever environment they're in.
Yes.
And I can't, if you ain't never been to a concentration camp, I can't judge the effects of a concentration camp on your everyday action. From outside of that, I might go, that's a really weird trait to have. Like, what's wrong with you? But I didn't experience that. So I think also you got to take in the fact that, like, how many MCs have made whole songs about how dirty and grimy that game is. I mean, if you've ever been in a bad relationship with a woman or a man, you know what I'm saying? Like, that resonates, right? In all your decisions and the way you act and the way you move. So I don't think that's any different with Andre. I don't think he had the greatest experience with that. And once again, I can understand it. Being a person like he is and having that level of success, I could dig that. It bothers you. You know what I mean? Like, I could see where Dave Chappelle was talking about, man. Like, I'm just out in the street and people just like, Rick James, bitch. Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm trying to live my life. Right. And I just think that's things that us as regular humans, we speak on a lot, but you just can't, like when you talk about, like, look at Mike Tyson, the way he is now, the way versus the way he was portrayed and used to be. Like, I can't believe that guy wasn't there all the time. You don't regress that far into like doing poetry and quoting
they just did a good job
bards.
Of masking it.
Right. They made him into what they want. No, and not only that, but society, the industry he was in, the whole thing shaped him into a whole different person. And I could dig the resistance of some. No. He was a nut.
He was on drugs.
But that too. But don't get me wrong. But everybody's on. First of all, aside from you, good sir, everybody on drugs. Most people are functioning addicts all day.
That's why you have a lot of. Oh, I was like that, but I'm not like that anymore.
But
are
also,
you like these drastic changes from people? Because drugs play a huge role.
But drugs are also a byproduct of your environment. Having grown up with everybody in my family being on crack, drugs aren't. You don't wake up one morning and go, "Man, drugs sound like a great idea." There's something that you're going. So that's what I'm saying. So like that environment could induce your drug use. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson, maybe if Gus D'Amato had found him, he'd just been a nice little athletic boxer, got him a college scholarship to go box somewhere, and he became and that's what I'm getting. That's the whole point I'm saying is maybe, even though I enjoy watching Tyson, and even though he's the greatest, and I had great times and great memories and great inspirations from that, I could live without seeing Mike Tyson fight if it meant he went on to do something that he wouldn't have went through all that stuff.
Yeah.
His art is not worth him as a person.
I never have a problem with people moving on, as long as that's what you want to do. That's all I'm saying. So like with Barry Sanders, bro, you don't ever hear me. And I know it's now, but even when he first retired, I wasn't the one to just be out there. Man, Barry need to come back. Barry. Like you can tell that Barry
is done.
It's cool, and he's ready to roll. Now Michael Jordan, on the other hand. When he retired the first time, you knew he wasn't done.
But that shouldn't even been a big deal. Oh, cool. Mike want to go hoop?
No,
it's not a big deal.
No. At this point, I'm rooting for you to get what you really want. And when I can tell you really don't want it like this, it's just circumstances that's making you feel like you have to do certain things or whatever.
Life, though.
That's fine. But as a fan, I'm still going to root for you to come back and get what you want.
But I agree.
Okay? And when I'm clear that Barry Sanders don't want to play football and Calvin Johnson don't want to play football, I'm straight.
Okay.
More power to you.
Josh Gordon want to play football. But
as a fan, I wish
and
he
I
could
agree
get
too.
what he wants, but he can't overcome.
But in reality, it's probably best for you to sit your ass down. And you should. It's much harder to do that if you have so many people. Like, what do you mean? You should be doing this.
Let me ask you this.
Everybody should have been supportive of that. He might have been playing right now, healthy and happy. If they, you know what I'm saying, instead of pushing him years ago.
Okay, so what if he doesn't play football anymore, and he winds up committing suicide?
What if he plays football and commits suicide?
I'm asking a question, though.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question.
All right, here we go. Alternate universe world, but I'll play. I'll play.
Because
so what if
you just went alternate. You just said he'd be happier if he didn't play football.
I know. I say possibly. I agree.
That's possible.
So what happens if he does that? He dies, right?
Okay. Not just, but he goes into
and sees a bad end, right?
And so that happens to a lot of people.
But what I'm saying is, so like right now, there's the same argument with this impeachment stuff. Why bother impeachment? We know it's going to the Senate. We know it ain't gonna go, right? It's called convictions. You're supposed to just do the thing that's best for the person. So all I'm saying, and that can only be looked at as, so what happens is I have the luxury at this point in this hypothetical thing to have some research on what you're talking about, right? Because I've seen he's been playing football his whole life and he's been doing drugs. So all I'm saying is, you gotta see the other flip side of it. Maybe that's not the best thing for you.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing about that.
What you want ain't the best thing for you all the time.
We're not saying, well, I'm not saying. He's trying to play a game that has certain rules.
Sure.
I ain't sitting here telling you that Josh Norman is not
Gordon. I don't feel he may be happy as a clam, getting high and doing whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
I got you.
He may be fine.
Sure.
He may be
performing,
great.
doing everything.
The problem is him trying to play football, and they have these rules to where you're not allowed to smoke weed.
I have a different insight on that.
That could be
First of all,
the
it
problem.
wasn't just weed. It was a lot of other drugs. He has historically already said that he has been through treatment programs, right? Mm-hmm. So me growing up with a grandmother who was an alcoholic, she was clean and sober when I was born, but prior to my life, and she was also a counselor and a psychologist. And half my family's on drugs. I'm pretty familiar with AA. You don't do nothing. Once you become an addict, you're an addict for the rest of your life. You have to understand that, and you have to go, yo, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. Every blue moon, I will say, some people actually it's better for them to smoke weed, so I will give you that. But my thing is, now it goes back to, like you said, you're within that construct, right? Mm-hmm. So you're in an unnatural situation. That's the perfect example.
For him.
So if he was in a league where they would just like smoke what you want, like if he was a baseball player, he'd be straight.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying. So right now, Andre needs to go play baseball where they don't test for drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the solution for Gordon. Like if his only problem is he just want to puff on some bud.
Hey,
then, but you can't. But what I'm saying is, but
go
the whole
right,
and
you want to
and me
do.
And you agree. But there's a whole host of people, more than me and you in this little room, that he has to deal with too, right? And they don't care. They don't care.
I think Ricky Williams was similar to that.
They're gonna and they beat him up.
The
And they beat him up. You know, they sat there and act like he was an idiot because he wanted to smoke weed instead of play football. And what I'm saying is, football ain't everything. And if that weed helped with his mental health and his sanity and his space in what's real life. Mm-hmm.
But
that's football.
in that
football is a game.
Yeah,
it's
it is. But it's also life, and we all work.
Right.
Correct.
But you talking about guys that are already rich.
But no. Most
of those guys are wealthy.
We all work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody says, "Look, hey, bro, I know you smoke weed. I know you do X, Y, and Z, but hey, man, we gonna, for this 5-year span or this whatever, this is what we're doing." You'll get paid very handsomely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you as a man and with responsibilities and knowing how life is, you might say, okay, I have to man up.
You have to
do this.
Right.
I mean,
you have to because
people do that every day.
Because we live in a capitalistic society, which we don't have to, but that's another show. No, it'll never happen because we're stupid. But that's what I'm saying. That's sometimes where I gotta say I do take a little annoyance with people that just say, hey, it is the way it is and it's always the blah blah blah. Like we wouldn't have nothing if we continued on that route. Like we'd be paying taxes to England right now. I'm in Britain right now. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point there has to be rebel rising. There has to be dissidents. There has to be somebody who goes, and also somebody that realizes there's certain things that really at this point in time, all I'm saying is the polar ice caps are melting. People are killing themselves at a crazy rate. Children are being snatched out. I could dig right now people's main concerns ain't certain things that we had the luxury, right, 10 years ago of being your main concern. I'm sorry. I love sports. I love sports to death. But I'd be lying if I said I watched as much hoops and was just into it as much as I am. There's other things that need my attention right now. And the proof in the pudding is everybody know what I know. There's way more people that know how much LeBron James averaged a game, or what the Andre 3000 last little leaked, freestyle was, and want to pick that apart, but don't know how impeachment worked.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. I just think sometimes we're so shocked when a human being goes, I know you're looking at me and I'm in the midst of all your hopes and dreams and everything you aspire to want, and you're looking at me like, why wouldn't you want to? I've had it, I've touched it, and I realize it still don't mean shit. Mm-hmm. That's where he's at.
Right.
Other people can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like people can't process sometimes the evilness that people will do for money. I always put wealthy people like why people don't understand that billionaires are and don't want to pay tax. Why don't you just be yo, here, let me just chop you off this bread and let's go, right? Mm-hmm. Because as your money, them dudes have not wiped their butt, some of them, for their whole life. They have no skills. So to the ultra rich, equality is oppression. Mm-hmm. Because you getting up every day, washing your dishes, doing whatever you got to do, fixing holes in your wall, you have a set of skills in real life, right? And this is actually the whole point I be making, and what frustrates me is those are real skills, right? But yet somehow the guy who made $1 million sitting around off the skills of other people like that get looked at as the hero and somebody we should look up to. That's how we got Trump in this office now, because of our ridiculous perception that because somebody has money or a suit on, that somehow that means that they're more valuable or beneficial than a guy mopping the floor. Because the proof in the pudding is, somebody told me the greatest thing, and it put a lot of things in perception. When we have these hurricanes, right, and all the electricity down, none of the ATMs working, you can't get in none of the banks, what's your money doing for you?
Yeah.
Who are you then?
I'll take it a step further.
Who are you then?
I'll take it a step further with that. I know this is a little way deeper and a little wilder, but I personally feel like the world has been around way longer than most people think or are most people give credit to.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are some people who like feel like they totally get and understand. Earth is trillion years.
There's no
all
way.
of that, but
it's all theory.
More than anything, I think it is factual that the Earth has been around longer than most people think. These disasters or these time periods come, and a lot of people die off. The people that are preserved and the people that kind of move on to push culture back is the people who basically didn't have much. Like, so people are what we consider not to have much. So for an example, let's just say that there was a big disaster that hit tomorrow. Well, most of the people that survive will be people who live in the jungles, people who live on the earth that are, of the earth, like those type of people.
Sure.
The people like the
Mexicans
Trumps and all these type of people, they wouldn't survive. You know what I'm saying?
Because they don't have the skills.
They don't have the skills. They don't have the pedigree, like all of that. So that cycle happens all the time.
So they're protecting their interest.
And then it's their job, the people, the so-called lesser people, it's their job to kind of rewrite and create everything. And that's why we kind of start over.
I agree.
And then you just keep going through the same cycles.
The only thing I don't think sometimes people see is the progression. And I don't know, and this comes from, and I don't want to be like I'm some kind of super smart dude or whatever, but call it what you want. Things called know-it-alls. If anybody's, I don't know how long you've been following me on Facebook or social media. It's been a while, huh? Like, have I not been saying the same thing? Like, have I not been telling y'all might want to get Bernie Sanders in there 10 years ago? Like, I've been talking about certain social things. So I think the difference is, and people get mad at me and they kind of want to say I'm a douche, and I get real scared, kind of cautious on doing this, but I know more about this than a lot of people. Reason being, the same reason you know how to produce and I don't. Why? Because you sat there with the instruction book, you push the buttons, you play with it every other day, right? I watch these things, I learn these things, I read about these things. Now, I'm not saying I'm the foremost expert on it. There's people that do it 10 times more than me. But there are people that don't at all. You know what I'm saying? And want to always have like input. And I just, it concerns me like that perception is shaped by a lot of misinformed people, and that you wouldn't believe that corporations who own media outlets and all these things don't funnel information that they want you to have. Perfect example is algorithms, right? What's happening to people is they're on social media. Now it's already proven people get like 90% of their news from social media, Facebook, right? So what the algorithm does for you is it goes, okay, this person just shot for a car. We're going to show you a bunch of car crap. Oh, this person likes pink stuff. We're going to show you a bunch. Oh, you like anti-Trump stuff. We're going to throw all that. Here, look, you should try this. You try this, right? So now what's happening is you have people in this world who only are seeing what has been customized to their preference.
Right.
Now they're walking around in the world thinking they know something when all they have been presented with is their perception all day. That's what's wrong with the people with Fox News. These old people sitting in front of TV and they're like, oh, you scared of the blacks? They coming for you.
Yeah.
And they're not even, news used to be, let me tell you what's happening. Now it's just let me reaffirm whatever you think. That's why I get into it with women. Same thing happened. Like, men have been blowing smoke up women's butts for so long because they scared they ain't gonna hit if they just tell them the truth. That women now, and I love y'all, and y'all should, I'm all with Beyonce, y'all do whatever you want. But they don't know how to take any ownership of, hey, maybe it's just your funky ass attitude, or maybe don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not. That's why, like, I always joke. The people that overly like animals because an animal will never tell you about your funky ass ways. Oh, you left me here for 4 hours. I'm super thrilled to see you back. You know what I'm saying? People don't work like that, and that's what's wrong with the society. That's why you see more people are shifting over to animal love than people. People are a thing you have to be understanding. And the thing is like, love is not about possession. So if you truly love your favorite artists, quit trying to possess, you know what I mean? Let them flow in a fashion that's good for them, regardless of what you want to do.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, my main thing as a fan and as a human is just, man, I just want you to, if you want something, I just hope and want you to try to achieve that something. So whatever that is, you know what I'm saying? Now, the day you decide, oh, yeah, you know what, I don't want that. I remember when I made the decision, I really don't want to play basketball no more. Right. It was weird. I played basketball all my life, you know what I'm saying? And I still like basketball.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But I didn't feel like oh man, I want to play, and I want to do all the stuff that I need to do to play. Like
that's like that. Those retirement moments guys have, like you know,
you never know when that is for you.
Whatever it may be. Like me, it was just I got tired of getting injured all the time, and having to come back from getting hurt from something. So I'm just like, I'm getting too old for that to be missing work off turned ankles and bad, and my knees are going bad. I don't have it. I ain't getting paid enough to get an ACL reattached. You know what I mean? And that's where I was at that point where I knew that was going to happen to me. But that's all I'm saying. I just wish that we would get more towards, and I don't think that's impossible. I don't think it's perfect world stuff. I just think it's really value, seeing a deeper value in stuff than what's immediately present. We just live in this microwave age. So just let that man have his journey, and it may not appeal to you what he want to do, and he may be struggling. Some days he may feel super confident, put down great songs, the next day he throw them all away and delete them. That's just his struggle, and I can't. I'm not saying it's good for everybody to have mental illness.
But as long as you know that is a struggle. See,
no,
what I don't like is
I know what you're saying.
If you try to make it seem
I hate that.
That's just cool.
I checked my daughter on that. I checked my daughter on that.
Bro, that's a struggle.
No.
And
I'm with you.
Suffered from stuff like that, so I know. You know what I'm saying?
But
so I'm not saying that I don't go.
This is a bunch of degrees Fahrenheit. Price is right for an Elijah prototype. With more twist than Shyamalan M. Night. Comic-Con hype, out like poker when you bluff it right. About to